We just got robbed in central London. We innocently went into M&M World and got charged £13.
I have a serious question. You people that don't pay rent, when we're talking about the cost of living crisis, why are you acting like you can relate? Like what? You don't pay rent, you don't pay council tax, you don't pay electricity, you don't pay water bill. What's affecting you? TFL. Get out of here, bruv.
The food prices in the UK are disgusting, really. I bought a few fucking bits the other day, and most of the stuff I bought had gone up £1, £1.50, and this is on items that used to be like £2, £2.50, and now like £3.50, £4, £3.75. And people go, oh, it's only £1, £1.25 extra. I'm like, that's 50%. And when you're buying 40, 50, 60 items in a month, that puts up your bill by about 50, 60 quid. No wonder people ain't got no fucking money. I bought this the other week. I've been buying this again. 100 grams of the old Kenko. It's a real small fucking coffee. It used to be £2 in Iceland. It's £3.64 quid everywhere for the smallest jar of coffee. And then people go get the cheap stuff. I don't want to get the cheap stuff. It's crap. I like that one. Do you know what I mean? And I noticed even in Iceland with the frozen food, the fish used to be about £3.50 for 4 decent sized bits. The fish has got smaller and they're charging £5. Same with the chicken. They've taken more chicken out of the fucking packages and charging you £1.50 more for the fucking convenience. No wonder people are going to food banks. Not everyone's fucking millionaires that they can afford £1.50 extra on this, £1.25 extra. And it's basic items. I'd understand it if they went up 20, 30p. But on basic items to go up like £1.50 and all that within a few months. And they're still putting the prices up now. You're going, it's £3.75, gone up like £1.50 in the space of a few months. I guarantee you next month they'll push that to £4 and etc, etc, etc. I've stopped buying certain things because I think it's a rip-off. You get less food in the packaging and you're paying more. It's a fucking disgrace. And what the government doing about this? Nothing, like they do with everything else. Fucking jack shit. What's your thoughts on all the prices of these small items going up 50, 100%? I think it's totally out of order. It's not helping people get out of the shit. And it's putting more pressure on families, pensioners and single people and single mums and dads. Totally out of order.
If you are the average British person and you choose to stay in this country for the next 2 years, here's what's most likely going to happen. Your standard of living is not going to improve, your taxes may well go up, and you will continue to feel a squeeze to your finances. So here's a graph outlining this that was released after the budget today. To explain what this graph here means to you, it means that between the last general election and the one that's about to happen, you, the average British person, have witnessed the greatest drop in living standards since records began. Since the 1950s. And this is the problem. People in this country don't realise how much better our standard of living could and should be. And highlighting this is not an anti-British statement. It's highlighting how this country has gone down the toilet and is going to stay in the toilet for a good few years, all thanks to these arseholes. And Labour are not going to be in a position where they can do a great deal about it. Our economic growth is predicted to grow slower than expected. Inflation is set to remain stubborn. And the tax burden is still set to remain very high, so Labour will most likely increase taxes. The tax cuts announced today are a classic trap for the next government, and they're also not going to improve the average person's life. In real terms, we are still going to remain a country where the average person is feeling the squeeze. So I would still advise that you move somewhere else, because there are numerous countries that either have a higher standard of living or a better quality of life. And people will always say that whatever country you move to has got its own problems and that's why you shouldn't move there. Don't fall for this self-defeating, limiting belief. The grass is always greener argument is a generic and lazy argument normally made by people who don't have the bollocks to move abroad themselves. So they would rather try and prevent you from doing it and drag you down. Or they'd rather remain here living in ignorance, thinking that everything is okay without realising how much our standard of living has dropped compared to other comparable economies. Let those people remain ignorant And start looking on TikTok and YouTube at the amount of Brits who have moved abroad and are now raving about how much better their life is. There are always valid reasons why some people can't do it, but for the average person, you can. Don't let your mind be the obstacle in the way of you improving your life.
So this is a comment from a post that I made actually about like the cost of living in the UK and like how everyone is a bit like depressed at the moment. Somebody said there's like over 9 million people in the UK that are on antidepressants at the moment, and this person clearly says because you just work to pay your bills and that's it. And that is literally the reality of a lot of people in the UK, and it's not good. Like, why? And I asked the question, like, why are we putting ourselves in this situation? Do you know what I mean? And you might hear me say that and disagree, and you might be like, what do you mean put myself in this situation? Like, I was just born here and like I've got to deal with it. And that's not the answer. Like, you don't have to be in this situation. A lot of people feel like they're trapped in the UK, and fair enough, some people are, maybe because their family's ill, or maybe they're ill themselves so they can't travel abroad, they can't do these things. But if you're young like me, if you're a young adult, like, you don't have to settle for this life. Like, you really don't. You're healthy, you're young, you're fit, you've got the energy, you can do anything that you want to do. Whether you haven't got the money for it, work a part-time job, do what you need to do, get your money, book a one-way flight. That's personally what I'm doing, but I've been doing this now for a couple of years, so I've kind of clued up on like what I need to do and such. But there's a lot of people out there that are just getting started on their journey. So I don't believe in this kind of thing, especially for young adults, that like you're trapped here and like you just work to pay bills. A lot of people do work to just pay bills, but you put yourself in that situation. Like, if you don't want to be in that situation, start working towards a life that doesn't mean that you work to pay bills. Earn extra money, learn skills, invest in yourself, buy education for yourself, podcasts, books, courses, all these things that like can help you become a better person, which ultimately will get you out of this situation in your life.
The UK is finished. If you're currently living in the UK, you might want to reconsider, because it's about to get a whole lot worse. So this graph shows you the standard of living in the UK, and it predicts it over the next few years up until 2028. Just take a look at that. This massive drop after 2023 shows how bad it's going to get. The standard of living in the UK is going down the drain. And take a look at this. If you wanted to rent a one-bedroom flat in suburban London, not even in central London, it will cost you 2.2k per month. Honestly, how can anyone afford this? Because the average salary in the UK per year after tax is 28k. And if you're renting a one-bedroom flat, you would only have £130 per month left over for everything else. So no wonder so many people are in debt. Taxes are likely to go up, inflation is at an all-time high, and rent prices are unaffordable. There are so many different countries around the world where you can have a good standard of living. So why would you choose to live in the UK? It's already the second most unequal country in the world. Because honestly, if you stay in the UK now, it's just gonna get so much worse. And yes, all countries do have their problems, but the way I see it, the UK is finished, and it's not getting better anytime soon. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and if you like the video,
I'm actually fucking disgusted in this country, the people that run this country. There's people out here literally can't afford to eat, can't afford to flipping heat the house. There's old people literally freezing to death. There's parents can't afford to take their kids places, get them presents. It's disgusting. While they're all sat at home, like all warm and toasty, getting hundreds of thousands of pounds for doing fuck all but torturing the UK. It makes me sick how they can literally make everything rise, make all the prices go sky high. You know, people can't afford to fucking literally do the basic minimum shit because of like the gas prices, the electric prices, the rents going up. People having to wear like extra flipping jackets and hats and scarves and gloves and in their own house. You can literally see the breath because they can't afford to put the bastard heating on just for like half an hour. Even the people going to work for extra hours, you know, breaking the fucking back just to get home, just to get enough money, just to get by, struggling, scrimping and scraping. Now you imagine them people that can't work, them people that are too old to work, them people that have to stay at home and look after the kid. Mate, honestly, it boils my piss how they can do this to people. You wonder why we hate the government and the people that run this country and the fucking prime ministers. It's because they do this kind of shit. They put out fake promises. Oh yeah, we'll do this, we'll do that for you. And all they do is make things fucking worse. How dare you do this to people? How dare you do this to us? The people that make the UK run and tick. The people that are grafting their ass off so you can keep your fucking pockets lined with all the cash. The people in Parliament, the fucking everyone who runs this country. Take your face for a fucking shit, yeah? You're disgusting.
If you guys want to know how bad the cost of living is, I've had a friend who's had his petrol siphoned off twice now. They've broken open the petrol flap, took the petrol and left.
Oh, at least get your brother some towel. £3.50. Felt that.
Do you know what I find funny about this cost of living? People that are earn a lot more than you, gaslighting people that are struggling every month. Like, once all your bills are paid, your rent, a lot of people have nothing to themselves. Once all the bills are paid, you're left nothing. And then you got rich people telling you, oh, you can't stop treating yourself. And I'm like, people that work, 40 plus hours a week should be allowed to treat themselves. Why have we normalised living wage to wage? Doesn't matter what job you have, you should still be allowed to survive. You should still be allowed a roof over your head. You should still be allowed to eat. But no, you got to work harder. Even if you do like 60 hours a week, you still got to work harder. And it annoys me, people that are, on good wages look down on people. Because they're just so out of touch. It's unbelievable. I just hope rich people don't get in the position that us minimum wage workers are, eh?